Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to review a blog post that I created recently, and then this video will end up in that blog. It's called Roundup Remix. And for here on out, as long as you're in my stream, just know that when I say Humpty Dumpty, I'm referring to DJT. And when I will tell you when I have a made up name for a very famous person, because I think words and the way we use them and the ones we choose are the most powerful weapons on earth. And if you don't believe me, then that's okay. You don't need to be here, and you don't need to know what glyphosate has to do with your future and your health. But what I want you to know, besides the fact that in Florida, Randy, fat ass fine, which from henceforth shall be called Wimpy, from the cartoon Popeye, he will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Wimpy, on the Senate floor, when no one was looking, he thought, went to his constituents and pushed their buttons to vote on evil. Because why? Because he supports Israel first and then America. And I am not a nationalistic kind of girl. In fact, the only reason I'm here, that I have a channel, that I have a platform, is to use my voice for the good of humanity. Because if you don't know what's going on behind the culture wars, behind the now war in Mexico, right? And the about to be war in Iran, this industrial military complex is devoted to your unwell. It's devoted to you not being emotionally, socially, physically, intellectually, environmentally, and spiritually safe. The military industrial complex is a power game meant to distract. And I'm going to teach you today, if you stick around, what is glyphosate. Okay? So the truth is, glyphosate has been found to have horrible, cancerous elements to it. Okay? It doesn't even come close to protecting the safety of Americans. And the rhetoric you're going to hear from the red, the right, the GOP. And remember, my podcast and everything I do, every video I make is not left, right anymore. It's top versus bottom, because I've clearly called out left and right for a long time now, but I've always known it's top versus bottom. But if you've been following me in any of my videos, I got like awakening 5 minutes from my house of how much people who are doing the most harm in this world don't give the regular people, the 8 billion people on the planet, 1 second of thought, because they've been trained over decades to think a certain way. And my job as an educator has always been WCWC, like the whole child should be taken care of, and therefore you have to take care of the whole classroom, and therefore you have to take care of the whole community, and therefore you have to take care of the whole culture, because that's what matriarchy is built on. Matriarchy is built on protecting the children. And glyphosate is not protecting the children. Did I spell it wrong? I freaking spelled it wrong. I was in a hurry. Look at that. See, and I make mistakes and I fix them. I mean, there's mistakes all over my videos, but it is what it is. I even break it down on the site here. I'm not even gonna waste my time, but let's call out Mike, Mark, whatever your name is. Mark, fine. His new name is Wimpy, because he will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. He will steal the votes if he can't get them through legitimate means. Okay? So let me get my trusty, because I'm going to write lots of words over here. Glyphosate is the weed killer in Roundup. The EPA has restricted its use because it's overwhelmingly scientifically proven to cause particularly non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it's a probable cancer carcinogen. We knew that in 2015. However, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's lobbyists and all the king's men put the poison right back on the shelf again. Recently. And then I did my English language arts teacher thing, like break the word apart. You can look at that better on your own. But just know that a glyph is a carved marking. OS in biology and chemistry is a biochemical connective. It's how we connect the chemicals. And 8 just makes it that suffix of it has action, right? We already know that this is horrible for us. But what has happened recently, this regime, this past year, is what is called regulatory capture, which means that Humpty Dumpty and all of his people, Bayer, think of Bayer aspirin, Monsanto owns that, right? There have been hundreds of thousands of Roundup caused cancer, and yet that product remains on the shelves in America. Farmers, groundkeepers, gardeners, parents, they're all sick. And our government has chosen, and I say this with no regret, they have chosen profit over people. It's like our entire system of government, from the Department of Education to the Human Health Services, it's like it's a yard sale, and it's not an estate yard sale. No. And I like to think of JFK Jr. JFK Jr. He's like a blobfish. He's a blobfish at the helmet. You know what a blobfish is? Go look it up. Okay? He might be in charge right now, but he is structurally boneless when it comes to caring about humans and human health. He is the epitome of the opposite of what healthy is. Okay? He is entirely out of his depth in the leadership roles, and all of the people, like, how did Linda McMahon become in charge of the Department of Education? And don't even get me started on how they've dismantled that and who that's going to affect the most. So this healthy masterclass of apparent come get healthy. We're going to make Americans healthy again. What a smack in the face it is to the Maha crew. Like the anti-establishment fuel of money, the rhetoric that is just goes all back to profits. And they're not embarrassed to say it anymore. They listen to shareholder meetings for public places in your city. Listen to shareholder meetings. They brag about profits. I am a licensed financial advisor. I know. I'm sitting in training one day I work for this company in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm sitting in training one day and I sign my name, and then I look at the kid next to me, and I would know him from high school. He went to a high school down the street from me, and we before there was social media, we all knew each other. And I was like, hey, it's me. And he looked at me and he was like, wait, you're smart? And I was like, yeah, I passed the test the first time, and I only started studying like 7 days before. And I gave him the what? Like, it's hard? Reese Witherspoon. And then I learned that one of our other friends has taken that same test 7 times. Triple trumper, and he can't pass it. I mean, really. So if you know what a blobfish is, that's JFK Jr. Okay? But we now have an agency. This is where it gets Orwellian. We now have an agency. And I used to say to my kids, if I took the time to write it on the board, even if it's sloppy, even if it's a abbreviation, it's meant for you to like know exactly what this conversation was about. And I wouldn't be such a stage on the stage if I actually had people with me. It would all be interactive. The Defense Production Act is Roundup and the weed killer's back door. It's a loophole. Okay, so this is Orwellian nightmare, you all. Forget your bills are higher, your electric bill's higher. They want the greedy billionaires want us to pay for the electricity bill when they build a data center in your town. Like, bro, all the way off. So how does a weed killer become an issue of national defense? I scratch my head. Do you know? Because that's what Humpty Dumpty has done. This is a cold error technique. And what it's doing is it's trying to mobilize the production of everything for the defense of the nation. And that these chemicals are essential to the national security of America. No. The DPA allows the president to direct private industries to prioritize production of everything we eat. This is everything we eat that they deem essential. When he classified the herbicide, the weed killer, as critical to the food supply chain, that bypasses all EPA regulatory review. It transfers the power of everybody in the food chain to the feds. If you die because of the cancer that you ingested that's going to be in your foods, you are not allowed to sue. So he basically, I use the green light because I taught Gatsby. He green lighted poison to the American people. And they don't even know it because they're fighting the culture war. Right? So I decided to rise my voice up and do what I did for 31 years in my tiny little classroom in my tiny little city. I decided to raise my voice. This tool of what we eat is a sledgehammer to the people of the United States. A sledgehammer. Why? Because glyphosate stays in the soil for up to 6 months. Okay? If it's in the soil, it's going to go to the groundwater. And then it's going to show up in your cereal, your bread, your oats, your honey, and even your baby food. "93% of urine samples taken from a study in 2017 had glyphosate in it." And so I put quotes in here from my favorite authors all the time. Maya Angelou, like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The Humpty Dumpty administration has shown us exactly who they are, what the government will sacrifice, the health of its citizens, to the almighty altar of corporate profit. You can dress it up in any kind of patriotic language you want to on your GOP bills and your Dem bills, but I will teach people what to recognize as long as I have a voice. Okay? Because adding this loophole is dangerous for all of us. It makes me want to move out of the country, or at least off the mainland. So if this isn't what you voted for, then show up to vote in November. Get your paperwork in order. If this is what you voted for, why are you here? Go cause a ruckus in your own world, right? Go be with your people. But what I've seen from triple Trumpers is it is not anything but a mirror held up to the American people to show them who they really are. And what I see in some of those mirrors are the ugliest, weakest beta men and women I've ever seen. And shout out to the girls' Olympic sports, the winter sports. They won more medals and gold medals, and they have denied Humpty Dumpty a visit. And the bro culture that needs to be snuffed out by the bros is exactly what Humpty Dumpty got a laugh out of in the boys' locker room with Kash Patel getting drunk on the American dollar. Check out how much he spent to go to Italy while Guthrie's mom's still missing, 0 arrests in the Epstein files, but you're in Italy partying, you're partying it up. I don't get it. And if you don't get it either, you cannot be quiet. You have to stand up to hypocrisy when you see it. And I know that's uncomfortable. I get it. But if you make a board of peace, Humpty Dumpty, and Canada, Austria, France, Germany, Ukraine, Slovenia, the Vatican, Italy, who else? Greece, Ireland, don't want to be in your board of peace, and El Salvador does, you might be one of the bad guys. You might be the betrayer. That's what Julius Caesar is about. That's what Shakespeare was trying to say, is you might be getting stabbed in the back by the guy you thought was the king, but really he's just a pawn in a much bigger play. And I ask for you all to wake up. Wake up to what is going on and use your voice in whatever small, meaningful ways you can to call out the nonsense. I told you, light little fires everywhere, right? Light little fires everywhere. Why? Because wildfire energy cannot be contained. Wildfire energy cannot be contained. And we metaphorically need to burn it down. Wildfires everywhere. Everywhere. Because that's what's going to take. Conversation by conversation, awakening by awakening. It's going to happen slowly, but you have to be big and bold and brave enough to talk to the people in your life about where their blinders are on. Because some of those people are so caught up in the system, they don't even know they're in it. It's like telling a fish to recognize water. So, like, can we please spend our time in things that make us feel amazing, with people who make us feel magical? Those are my upgrades for this year. And I am on fire with what I have planned for the rest of my life. And let me tell you, I don't know if I can get back. I can't navigate. That's the thing about this, is I really want to pop around this page and I can't. And I wonder, I'm just going to experiment here because I'm kind of done talking, but I also want, I don't need you anymore, but I would like to make you bigger. How do I do that? I want to make you bigger. Where is it? No. Yeah. Now, can I get there? I can't even get there. That's the problem with these things is, I probably need to upgrade and pay. But what I'd really like to do is take you to the vlog and catch you up. But I can't navigate. I want you to come, especially on the research page here, and take my survey, because I'm trying to collect as much research as I can before I deliver the final version of my new book, The Pleasure Curriculum. And I am not always going to be politically correct in here, but I'm always going to be emotionally ready and regulated to handle whatever comes my way. And I want you to step into that version of yourself and just practice and play with it, because it matters. It really, really matters. I think I can turn that on, and then it gets just me. So I'm fooling around here, seeing what I can get. Does it make me big? There, I'm big. Okay, what I would like to do is navigate my website. Can I add a scene? Can I do it while I'm streaming? Yes. Screen, video. Hold on, people. No, it's not going to work. You just saw my whole life there. Oh, it kind of worked. Nah, that's not even it. But yeah, that's my latest blog. It doesn't really want to get there for me, does it? Anyway, that's it, people. Peace out. Love ya. Get out of that one. Back to me. Yeah. So, lover above. Yeah. Ride the wave while you guide the horse because times are not going to get easier. No, they're not. They're going to get a lot harder and worse before they get better, until every single one of us steps into our power. And all of our power, I'll repeat, is feminine. All mammals on the planet except humans have matriarchal societies, because matriarchal societies protect the children. And we have seen that patriarchal societies, not only do they not protect the children, but they do the exact opposite. And so that's why I'm here to show up to talk about like the depravity. Like if you could see my notes, my show notes, it's like I'm being very careful about what I say. But right now, it's like it's humanity versus brutality. That's where we're at. And forget statehood and nationhood, and think about people. The people who are causing the most horrible genocide that's ever been recorded, not the most in numbers, no, but like IDF soldiers posing for pictures with dead children's toys, like 15 of them, smiling and uploading to social media. That's depravity. They went through the rubble, took a picture, and then posted it. And that is insane. That's insanity. That's going to be in a museum like the Holocaust museums. The way, and I'm just going to forget like all the visual aids and just go here for a minute, because I still have plenty to say about the state of the world today. It's about resources, people. Everything in recorded history, in all kingdoms across all times, it's always about resources. Spices, meat, navigation, ships, right? Why do we create the Panama Channel? Why did we try to sail around the bottom tip of Africa? Why did Amerigo Vespucci discover America and decide to give it to Christopher Columbus? Because he got paid. And he said, well, at least can I have the name? And Christopher Columbus was like, yeah, you can have the name. So like we've been taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America, but he did not. And he was a pillager and a rapist and a murderer. And he gave diseases and famine and death to all the people he conquered. But guess who owns the textbooks that we've all been using our all American lives? Ghislaine Maxwell's father. So I'm here, and I see I have a small little audience, and hi, I see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. But I would like for you to look into your reasonable mind and ask yourself, do I support humanity, or do I support brutality above all else, no matter what? And then sit with that for a minute, right? Like Mike, I don't know if his first name is Mike, but I know his last name is Fuckabee. Okay. This guy is the most corrupt. He has been on camera. We can, like, I'm not the type who's going to spend the time to link it. Like, there's bigger, better channels than me who can give you these facts better. But I want you to know from now on, he's called Fuckabee, because he's an ambassador to the US, and he allowed Paladin, what's his name? Jonathan, what's your name? Freaking, I don't want to know your name, but Pollard, yeah. He was a spy, okay? He was he was a spy. He was arrested. He was convicted. He's now out, and Fuckabee lets him have a meeting. Like, where are all the nationalists upset about? Because the nationalists are all too distracted, and half of them are the ICE agents, so they're not paying attention anymore. They're out there like, I don't need food stamps anymore because I got a job with ICE. That's the guys in charge of ICE. So Tucker Carlson, who I can't even believe I'm agreeing with him, he was recently detained in Israel. Okay? Like, he interviewed this guy, this pompous ass, and he's like, this is Tennessee, good old boy, right? And this man, Tucker, you folded him like a blanket. His rhetoric is so rehearsed and so meaningless that Tucker called him on his bullshit every single lie. And he lied out of his face during that interview. What's the title of that video? Something Tucker Carlson. I don't know. But it's like this today or yesterday. It's within the past 24 hours. Mike Fuckabee, you don't get a get out of jail free card here. Okay? You don't get to pass go and collect $200. Like, you should be resigning. And the fact that it's not even going to happen, much less even be a discussion for the comments that you made on Tucker's show, like, it made me realize the puppets that all the politicians are. And like this it's almost like the sanctification of Israel, as they're going to defend themselves from the world and they're not going to be isolated from the world. And I'm a Jew who wants nothing to do with Israel. And I know a lot of Jewish people who feel the exact same way I do. The Jews have an identity crisis. They've had one for years. It's gotten considerably worse since October 7th. Because the brutality that was inflicted on those people at that concert, that event, has not only been matched, but it's been amplified by millions. Like, we don't have the exact numbers yet for the loss of life in Gaza, but we do have pictures of your soldiers standing with teddy bears and toys and posing for social media. We do have video of your leader who's born in like Poland or Latvia. He's not even Israeli born. My people are from Lithuania, Belarus, Poland. Like, that's a Semite. So I must warn you that what you're about to put in your mouths is going to be the most poisonous source of food you've ever sourced in your life. And you might not have even known it, except you showed up here. So it's like, since when is torture and brutality okay? Since when? What happened to the no wars people? And now we have wars everywhere. It's barbarity at this point. It's fascism on fire. Jonathan Pollard, the one who was arrested for being a spy for Iran, gave away all our information. He once said on tape that if the US doesn't comply, we should nuke them. And this is who Fuckabee is having a meeting with. These are our leaders. So I know I've said it once, I'll say it again. Most of the American people, like, I don't know, the polls range between 70 and 80%. Most of the Americans, people don't want a war and don't support Israel. Yet there are 0 arrests in the Epstein files. And if you want to get real conspiracy theorists, because listen, the world solves its problems with reporters with conspiracy theories. Some of them are true. And one of the conspiracy theories that I've been looking at lately is morticians calling out the corpse of Epstein and saying, there are some suspicious things about the death. There's no autopsy. The footage of whatever shoulda, woulda, coulda happened in the environment that he was supposed to be on watch for doesn't exist. The person who said that he removed the strangling device from his, he doesn't remember removing it from his neck. I know a young man who had to remove a rope from his brother's neck because his brother hung himself. And I can tell you this, that young man has not forgotten a single second of that, finding that in his backyard and then getting it off his brother's neck. And the person who found Epstein, he's like, oh, I just don't remember any of it. Go look at what morticians are saying about the most powerful man in the crime world that probably ever lived. That's how it's going to go down in history. Some people are saying he's not dead. Some people are saying he's in Israel. I know. You've got known pedophile protectors like Jim Johnson deciding and making decisions about your bodies and your children and our world. It's, you know, the elite protecting the elite. And I'm done with the depravity of it all, right? I mean, it's a lie that we hate each other. I mean, I don't have a relationship with every single person on the planet, but I don't hate anybody. So if you have that much hate in your heart, that you need that much power over people, I ask you, what the fuck is wrong with you? And who raised you? And what raised you? So it sounds like you were raised by animals. You were probably raised by people who gave you everything you want, everything you asked for. They never told you no because they wouldn't want to make you uncomfortable. No. Well, that's my job. I'm going to be decently bold and make you uncomfortable as fuck. Because I'm tired of the bullshit. And I'm tired of, it's a cult by now, people. Like, you can't deny it. Like, the TDS, if you're spouting that other people have TDS, like, you are the one that's infected, not us. Right? Like, I keep doing this because I know in the video it'll like show up in a thumbnail or something. But the barbarity of it, like the IDF, like the factual things that are coming back, that I think it's 256 reporters have been killed. Why would they? That's like, media is supposed to be off limits. Why do you think we have video of any war or photos of any war? Because you wear a sign that says media, and Nobody aims shit at you. But 256 journalists killed? Target practice? Like, one of the things I heard a lot from some of the most racist kids at the private school that I worked at last year was all Muslims are evil, even their children. And I was like, but even children, like they don't have agency. It's their parents' fault if they're like, yeah, but it's their parents' fault and they're already that way. And I was like, I mean, I just am not for killing babies. You could kill a baby. And once I say that, they have no comeback. They would just get quiet. But we had those kinds of conversations because I really wanted to know what's in their minds. And I realized it's their house. It's the culture and the environment in their house. Okay? What the real evidence is showing that other countries are reporting is that the IDF has like game days with people in Gaza. Like literal, today, let's only shoot in the groin so they can't make babies. We won't kill them, but we'll shoot them in the groin. Dozens of those showing up in makeshift hospitals. Something else that's really got me freaked out, and I need to look into it a little bit more. Skin donations and organ donations. Somehow Israel's the biggest donator of all. Like, where are they getting the bodies from? What is that? I mean, go look it up. And the thing is now is if you are really paying attention, if you're on ground news and you're looking what the leaders of these places are still doing, Democrats, Republicans, BB, they're saying the crazy parts out loud now. All the things that they used to say hush hush behind closed doors, keep it close to your vest, they're now saying out loud. Like the biggest colonizers on the planet, and you cannot see that you're part of an apartheid state when you're living within their cultural rules. You can only see that you're an apartheid state when you look at past examples like South Africa. It's not until you step out of South Africa's apartheid and to realize that that was an apartheid. They called themselves a democracy. They were protecting the people. If everyone around you, all your neighbors are enemies that must be destroyed and conquered, that's barbarity. Like, that is absolute barbarity. I'm doing my phone. Did I say and now I timed out on my laptop. Anyways, okay. Let's get clear about where we're headed by having very deep, emotional, vulnerable talks where we share what's really going on in the news, because the old media, they're dying. The old ways, the old rules of the patriarchy, they're dying. They're dying a loud, miserable death. And the women who support them are going to go with them. History will not be kind to this administration. No, it won't. And shame on you for your silence. Shame on you. Because, if you want to go Bible, I started reading recently. I never read the Bible, but I got Monty Mater, you inspired me. If you want to go Bible, like Euphrates to the Nile, if that's what they've been told is their land and that they're about to conquer these lands because that's what the Bible told them to do, that's fundamentalists, like Christian fundamentalists, Jewish Zionist fundamentalists. Like, they believe that God's spoken to them, right? That gave them the land, gave us the land, right? If you look at the countries that fall in that hemisphere, it's Libya, right? It's Saudi Arabia, or Iraq, like Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. If that's what's happening, if that's what Bibi Netanyahu wants, if he's going biblical because like they want the rapture is coming, right? That's fundamentalists. That's Zionists. They want all those countries and they're knocking them down one by one by one by one, killing their economies, Cuba, Venezuela. This is Fourth Reich action. Make no mistake. All of these actions are against the Constitution of the United States, don't even represent the majority of people in the polls. Trump's ratings are as low as the illiteracy rates. He's like in the 20s now for favorability. Visa and MasterCard just lost their entire European connection, meaning Europe will no longer do business with Visa and MasterCard because of the Humpty Dumpty administration. Do you know how many people are going to lose their jobs in America? Because the UK is developing an entire new system. What is that going to do to America? It's going to continue to weaken the dollar. Because if you go back to, I don't know where it went. If you go back to my blog, and actually that's tomorrow's blog where I show tomorrow's vlog. Never mind, I'm jumping ahead. I'm mixing tomorrow's content with today's content. Tomorrow, here's a little feed for you. Tomorrow we're going to talk about what Humpty Dumpty has done to the Department of Education and what that means for you and me. And the idea is, besides poisoning your food, they are shifting the most vulnerable populations to the hands of the Department of Labor, which is the most Orwellian, nightmarish thing I can absolutely imagine. It's like they're saying we're going to, dismantle the Department of Education. The Department of Education was not broken. That's the funny part, is nothing was broken. It was working fine. We were leveling the playing field. Oh, can't do that. We were providing equity. Oh, can't do that. We brought in marginalized communities like Indian Americans and special needs population. But those things, and those are civil rights issues that we fought long and hard for a long time ago. And those things are being dismantled in the name of public safety. And if you listen to the language of people like Linda McMahon in the Department of Education, I took notes on her language today. Where's that one? I have so many notes. Fuckabee uses the word warrior over and over and over again. If there's anything I taught college and high school kids is watch nouns paint the pictures, but verbs make the pictures move. Pay attention to nouns and verbs above all else. Everything else is for fluff, right? Sally jumped. Noun, verb, complete sentence, okay? The nouns and verbs are everything. So That's how you train your brain to know what's important. So watching the language that Humpty Dumpty administration is using, Linda McMahon, Department of Education, she's using words like efficiency. That's why they're going to the Department of Labor. She's saying this is something we're going to test to see concept of use. Nothing was broken. What are you testing? We're putting systems of capital. What does she say? Systems of where the hell are my notes? I'm sorry. Hold on. Where's my notes? Testing. Proof of concept, and like schools are failing. We're failing because of poverty, and those are systemic issues. It's nothing to do with schools. But yeah, she talks about test scores, testing, and that that was the word, a talent pipeline. Who got sent to the talent pipeline? Who got sent? I know it off the top of my head. I don't need the notes. Department of Education. Who got sent to the pipeline? Aftercare services, gone, down to labor. Department of Special Education, Department of Secondary Education, Department of Office of Elementary Education, Office of Indian Education. 5 or 6 have already been shooed off to Department of Labor so that we can provide. Now, mind you, in English language, so Department of Foreign Language or English Language Learners, one of those. So what you've basically done is you've taken all the disabled population, all the marginalized people in the whole world, and you said, we don't care about education. We don't care about educating you. We care about managing you, because that's what tests do. That's all a multiple choice test does, is manages apparent learning and provides that data for people to share. But yeah, who do you want in charge of your children's classrooms? Do you want a gatekeeper or do you want a specialist? Because what Linda McMahon and the goons in DC have done is they've transferred I think it was 4,000 people in the special education office were fired. And then they had to like turn around and bring them back because they didn't realize like the catastrophe and the calamity that would happen if you took away all the support services for people who are already struggling. Oh, and then they moved Title I. And if you don't know what Title I is, these are the schools that every student, majority of the kids on that campus, their income from their family qualifies for free and reduced lunch. They get, it's like $20 billion of money that gets fed in from the feds to the state for the special education population. 20 billion. So let's save $20 billion by just getting rid of them. That's what they tried to do. And then because there are good people fighting back, people who were fired, who are still fired, they didn't get their jobs back from the Department of Education, fighting the good fight right now. There's little fires everywhere. And all I've learned in the past, since 2026 started, the people in charge are not thinking about the 8 billion of us. The people in charge are thinking, how can I get more power and more money? And like I've said before, you must be a miserable human being if you think money and power will bring you happiness, because I guarantee when you get there, you're not going to find it. Not a bit. So, Yeah, I think I'm learning how to at best add. Yeah, I can add all kinds of things. I'm figuring this place out. I got this. I'll see you tomorrow. More tomorrow. Love her above.